Happy Thinker Thursday from Virginia Agriculture in the Classroom. Thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Farm Credit. Today, we'll be learning about bees and the important process of pollination. Bees might seem scary because they can sting, but they're actually a very important part of our world. Let's learn more about bees, and maybe by the end of this video, we'll have a new appreciation for our winged friends. Bees belong to the insect family. They have 6 legs, 3 body parts, 2 pairs of wings, 2 antennae, and 2 compound eyes that let them see in all directions. Bees live in colonies. A colony of bees has 1 queen, several hundred drones, and tens of thousands of workers. The drone bees are males. The queen bee and the worker bees are females. A bee begins its life as an egg, laid by the queen in a tiny cell of comb. The egg hatches into a worm-like creature called a larva, and from here, this is where the process of metamorphosis begins. The larva changes into a pupa, and hidden inside the tiny cell, the pupa will eventually turn into a bee. When it hatches, the bee is fully grown and ready to be a member of the colony. It takes about 3 weeks to go from an egg to a bee. Most bees that hatch will be worker bees. The worker bees travel outside the hive to collect nectar. Nectar is a sugary substance created by plants, which the bees can take back to the hive and turn into honey. One worker bee will produce about 1.5 teaspoons of honey in their lifetime. As the bee travels from flower to collect nectar, they inadvertently get pollen grains on their furry bodies. The transfer of this pollen from flower to flower is a process called pollination. Pollination is very important, and without bees pollinating plants, we wouldn't have many delicious fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Ready to see for yourself how pollination works? Today we're going to simulate how pollination works through a simple activity called Pollination Pizzazz. You can easily recreate this lesson at home, and it's a really fun way to see how pollen can spread all over. So first, you're going to need a piece of cotton, and when you have this piece of cotton in your hand, you are a worker bee. Now, worker bees are special because they are the ones that go out and find the nectar to bring back to the hive to make honey. I'm going to invite you now to the flower garden so you can see where our worker bee is going to be working today. Time to get busy. All right, the other items you're going to need, I created some flowers using construction paper and paper plates. And then you're going to need some household stuff from your cabinet. I used just regular flour, cocoa powder, and some ground ginger. Now, little worker bees, it's time to start pollinating. Land on a flower that has pollen, and then go from flower to flower collecting nectar, as if you were a real-life worker bee. Now's a great time to sing a little bee song, or go buzz, buzz, buzz as you fly around the garden. Notice how there's small amounts of pollen left behind every time your bee goes from flower to flower. And that's really all pollination is, a very simple process, but so critical to agriculture. But you know what? Bees land other places besides flowers. Does that mean that pollen might get other places too? There wouldn't be sunflowers, wouldn't be peas,
wouldn't be apples on apple trees if it weren't for fuzzy old, buzzy old bees dusting pollen from off their knees.
I really hope you enjoyed today's lesson. For more information about bees, go to agintheclass.org and check out these awesome books all about bees, nature's most efficient pollinators. Now it's time for you to get busy.